All righty. We are live on Facebook and live on Zoom. Thank you for joining us for the Caucus Saturday Ward F Community Caucus brought to you by the Office of Councilman Gilmore. You may have seen this flyer up and around Jersey City, up and around Ward F, and especially on social media, where we list all the days of our Saturday caucus, all the days of the corresponding council meeting, and the council caucus, and then the council meetings. Here we also have QR codes where you can participate with us via Zoom. You can watch live on Teams. You can sign up to speak, and you can watch past council meetings on YouTube. We want to make sure that you have access. Councilman Gilmore is all about transparency. He wants to make sure his constituents know exactly what your government is doing with your tax dollars. And so that's why we do these Saturday caucus meetings, so that we can review the upcoming meeting agenda. So today is September 7th. As you can see here, the next council caucus is August 12th. We have 3 stars here. So that means it's going to be a 10 a.m. start time versus the normal 4 o'clock start time. So on August 12th, we'll start at 10 a.m. for the caucus. And then on August 14th, it has a regular 6 o'clock start time for the city council meeting. Please do sign up to speak, whether you're watching this live or you're watching this on Facebook or you're watching this later on this evening. If there is something that catches your eye, catches your attention on the agenda, definitely sign up to speak in advance so that you can be heard, your voice can be heard, and that you can also let your constituents, let your fellow constituents and neighbors know to sign up as well, because we need backup. It's one thing for you to send an email to Councilman Gilmore and he speaks on your behalf, but it's even stronger when the community comes out and makes a presence to also put their remarks on record with the city. So without further ado, we're going to click on this link to visit the city council agenda. Look at the regular meeting for September. Oh, it's September 11th. I thought I saw it. Okay, yeah, September 11th at the regular time. I'm sorry, I was looking at August 12th. So I'm sorry, apologies. September 9th is the next meeting, so we'll be at 4 o'clock. I'm still in August. September 9th will be the next meeting at 4 o'clock, caucus meeting. You can come in person or you can watch live on Teams, but the only way to participate in the council meeting is in person. You can watch live on Teams, but you won't be able to speak. So if you want to speak, sign up to speak, you do need to come in person on September 11th. Before we get started and going down to agenda items, I want to let everybody know that I do tend to talk fast. That is because there is so many things on the agenda. We have well over 40, 50 agenda items to cover. So if at any time you need me to stop, pause, slow down, or discuss something further, I welcome you to just chime in, raise your hand, or just say, pardon me, Erica, can you slow down? Can you repeat that? Or feel free to just chime in and give your statement, your input, your questions, your comments. But another reason why I go fast is because it's Saturday and we have other things to do today. For instance, the Area of Refuge event is today. You get to capture your community's legacy. If you have any interest in being a photographer or any interest in learning about the history of Jersey City, specifically the Black history in Jersey City for this event, please sign up to take part in the guided photo tour, the Area of Refuge, starting momentarily, actually. It's an all-day affair. So it's a way for artists to preserve our community's history and vibrancy through a dynamic photography tour and workshop. You're going to explore, learn, and capture the essence of our stories. So whether you're into documentary, portrait, or architecture photography, they've got a workshop for you. And this tour is just all about connecting with your community and celebrating the stories that make Jersey City unique. So Pamela Johnson with the Anti-Violence Coalition is will be one of the persons being photographed. I am also one of the persons being photographed as the chief of staff for the Ward of Council office, stepping in for Councilman Gilmore because unfortunately he couldn't make it today. And then I believe we also have Miss June Jones possibly, who is the only Black female developer in the city of Jersey City. So we definitely want to document the history that's being made today and also pay homage or homage to the historic value that Jersey City currently has from yesteryear. So we invite you to do that right after this caucus meeting. All right, on to the City Council agenda for the regular meeting of the Municipal Council, which will take place on Wednesday, September 11th at 6 p.m. We're going to go to first readings. Ordinances are laws that are being changed or amended or added. So I'm just going to split my screen here so I can make the text bigger. Can everybody see? Do you see is the view okay? All right, so each ordinance or new law has to go through council 2 times. So the first reading doesn't get public input, but every second reading gets public input. So even if you didn't sign up to speak on an ordinance, they will call people to speak on public record, whether you signed up in advance or not, because all ordinances, these are new laws. So that's why you don't have to sign up to speak, because they want to hear public input. They want to know what you think about these new laws. And it has to go through twice. It has to be read and introduced, voted for the introduction. And then at the next meeting, it turns into a second reading. And that is when the public has an opportunity to speak on it after having the 2 weeks to review it, and say whether or not they support these new laws taking place or these changes, the amendments to laws taking place. So without further ado, we have 3.1, which is an ordinance to amend scatter site redevelopment plan for a study area 5. So local redevelopment and housing law permits municipalities to adopt and amend regulations within areas declared to be in need of redevelopment and in need of rehabilitation. So we like to watch these very carefully because oftentimes there are reasons why they're studying specific areas. A developer may have their eye on it and may want to already have plans for it. And anytime an area is in need of redevelopment, there might be some type of tax break associated with it, or and with that, or other allowances associated with it. So with that, we also always want to make sure that if we're giving, land away for a nominal fee or giving tax abatements, there better be affordable housing as a part of the project as well. So I'm just going to go to the purpose box that tells us more. So this ordinance amends the scatter site redevelopment plan to add the 9 properties designated as condemnation area in need of redevelopment as part of a study area 5 to the plan area and revises plan text for clarity. So let's look at the 9 locations that they're looking at. So we have locations along Monmouth, 7th, Pavonia, 4th, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, Wayne, and Morgan. So parts of Ward F, E, and possibly D. So let's see if they have a map. So this ordinance would give the power of condemnation. We do want to preserve and restore historical uses, densities, and housing typologies within Jersey City's established residential and mixed-use neighborhoods. So that's going to be increasing density because Jersey City historically in the past was more dense than it is now and had a larger population. If evidence or different number of dwelling units per building can be provided via historic photographs, Jersey City property cards. So if they can prove that these areas were able to hold more density in the past, then they're going to increase the density in these areas. No properties being rehabbed or redeveloped shall be required to provide a number of parking spaces greater than what that existed at the time of designation. provided the number of residential dwelling units or amount of non-residential square footage. Aside from above provision, parking minimums and maximums shall be provided for by the municipal land development ordinance for the redevelopment area. So, I mean, we've seen this before, the fact that, the master plan does not call for increased number of parking spaces because they want people to use public transportation, especially in buildings that are along light rail stations or train stations. So that is where we need to call on our state officials to make sure this public transportation is up to par. Moving along to 3.2, an ordinance amending Chapter 84, alcoholic beverage and cannabis, to amend regulation of cannabis establishments and cannabis distributors. So it's an amendment, so we should see some highlighted areas or strike through lines to see what's being added or underlined areas. So they're amending the definition of cannabis retailer, means any licensed person or entity that purchases or otherwise obtains usable cannabis from cannabis cultivators and cannabis items from cannabis manufacturers or cannabis wholesalers, and sells these to consumers from a retail store and may use a cannabis delivery service or a certified cannabis handler or the off-premises delivery of cannabis items and related supplies to consumers. A cannabis retailer shall also accept consumer purchases to be fulfilled from its retail store that are presented by a cannabis delivery service, which will be delivered by the cannabis delivery service to the consumer. This person or entity shall hold a Class 5 cannabis retailer license. Okay, I don't see any strike-through language, so I don't know what they changed. Let's see. We have the 5 classes, which we've had before, and then class 6, no limit imposed for delivery service. So in Jersey City, we can have 3 cultivator licenses, 3 manufacturer licenses, 3 wholesaler licenses, 3 distributor licenses, 48 retailer licenses with no more than 8 issued per ward, and licenses issued in connection with the application submitted prior to licensing cap taking effect shall not count toward the ward limit. So many wards are already over the 8, and that's why they put this limit into effect, because the city was just getting overwhelmed with applications. And, the people spoke up and like, we don't need, all of these cannabis retailers. Like, it's we understand that there's a need, we understand that there's a market, we understand that this is a hot market, but we don't want to make the same mistake that we did with alcohol, especially like on the south side of Jersey City. There's a liquor store like on every other block, sometimes every block. And we don't want that to be the same with these cannabis, especially since there's a smell that comes along with the consumption of cannabis, unlike liquor. So they did put a cap on it, but in some areas it's already over 8 per ward. And they struck through here, cannabis retailers must provide, they just changed the text there. The Cannabis Control Board and actions thereof are subject to enabling authority of the State of New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Enforcement Assistance and Marketplace Modernization Act and the J. Koenig Compassionate Use Medical Cannabis Act, where a provision of this section is found to be inconsistent with the statutes or regulations of the state of New Jersey, the state statutes shall govern. So if there is controversy, if there's a conflict between what Jersey City says and the state law is going to trump what Jersey City says. Cannabis Control Board shall establish a regular schedule of meetings at least once a month, required to meet the needs of its businesses, to handle emergencies, or to meet time constraints. Okay, good. So just like the planning board, zoning board, they all meet once a month. So I'm assuming they put this in so that even after we reach our cap, even after we've distributed all of the licenses, they will still continue to meet and review issues concerning cannabis licenses. They're going to review whether approval of licenses should be do exceed any local limits, good. So if you have complaints about a cannabis business, if you feel like there's a business not abiding by the rules, they'll be seen in front of this board. Okay. All right, for the sake of time, I'm going to go down to the purpose box. But it just looks like they're strengthening the rules and regulations, which is good. An ordinance to amend regulation contained. Okay. So more regulations is great. What Councilman Gilmore always is concerned about, though, is the enforcement of these regulations. It's great to have laws on the books. It's great to have clarity of what these laws are, but who's enforcing them? And do we have enough enforcers? 3.3 is an ordinance amending Chapter 287, Solid Waste, Article 1, Storage, Collection, and Disposal, and Article 3, Private Collectors. So, whereas the city has an interest in promoting health and welfare of the city by promoting efficient and sanitary trash collection, and whereas sharpening the distinction between commercial and residential trash will facilitate more efficient trash collection, therefore, the City Council of Jersey City amends the law as follows. So we're going to look for underlined text, which signifies the amendment. Teratogenic effects on humans and other life forms. That's just a spelling correction. So instead of receptacle, including both refuse containers and plastic bags, a receptacle is now any container with a securely fitting lid compliant with the specifications of this chapter, in which the primary purpose is for the storage of rubbish and swill. For the purpose of this chapter, receptacle does not include garbage bags. Is this saying we need to put our items in a receptacle and not just put the bags outside? Because they're excluding garbage bags now. So we're gonna want clarity on that. I'm just gonna turn my AI companion on. So it could take notes for me. Okay. So that's a big question, because if they're telling us we can't put our garbage out with just plastic bags, then is the city offering containers for us? Or do we have to go out and buy containers? We know that lithium-ion batteries should not be placed out for collection with any garbage or rubbish. When setting garbage out for collection in accordance with this chapter, owners of businesses shall ensure that the garbage is placed in compliant receptacles or orange garbage bags. If garbage bags are used, they shall be waterproof and capable of holding their contents without leakage, spillage, or tearing. Garbage bags shall be kept securely sealed or tied. Yep. Okay. So this is for businesses. I know you guys see it when it's garbage day for businesses, they just put those bags out there, overnight, and we have raccoons, we have animals that will tear these bags. So these businesses will now have to use more secured bags and or compliant receptacles. The owner, for every tenant in 1 and 2 family houses, shall provide himself with the approved tenants as well. So not just businesses. The owner, superintendent, property manager, leasee, tenant, other occupant, or any other person responsible for dwellings with 6 or more units shall place garbage or arrange for garbage to be placed on the curb in compliant receptacles at the designated time as set forth within this chapter. This is huge. So I feel like the city needs to do a lot of marketing. This is a big change because we've just been putting our bags out there for forever. I know some people use garbage cans, but so this is twofold, possibly threefold, because where we use garbage cans, some of us use garbage cans, the trash collectors don't respect our garbage bins and they throw them and they get broken, they get worn and torn more easily because they're not handled with care. and these cans are like $30, $40. So if garbage bags are used, they should be waterproof, da 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 da. So, like, is the city going to hand out, the proper garbage bags? What do these proper garbage bags look like? Where can we get them? Got a lot of this ordinance is sponsored by Councilmember Mira Prince Airy and and Director Kearse of the Department of Public Works. So we will send an email to Councilmember Mira Prince to see how the city is supporting this ordinance and at least providing maybe trash receptacle. In other towns, you can go to DPW and pick up a proper receptacle with the city's logo on it. So maybe the city is doing this, hopefully. 3.4 is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 3, Parking, Standing, and Stopping, implementing Section 24.2, parking prohibited at certain times except for vehicles of municipal employees in possession of a parking permit. So Central Avenue. Parking will be prohibited at certain times except for city vehicles. At Cambridge Ave. Okay. 3.5 is an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 9, Parking for the Disabled. So these locations, these constituents will now have disabled parking. Speaking of, if there is a location in your area that like that disabled person is no longer a resident there and that parking should be gone back to a regular parking space, please let our office know so we can have that sign taken down. 3.6 is an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic Regulations, amending Section 332-9, stop intersections. So the following intersections will be designated as stop intersections along Mallory and Roosevelt. 3.7 is an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, amending Section 332-9, stop intersections, more stop signs at 16th Street and Marin for multi-way stops. 3.8, vehicles and traffic, parking prohibited at certain hours at PS 1696 Sussex Street and at Danforth Avenue Early Childhood Center. So they're limiting parking possibly for children's drop-off. And you can see as it is during drop-off and pickup hours at those locations. 3.9 is an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 3, Parking, Standing, and Stopping, amending Section 332-27, angle parking on 2nd Street between Provost and Warren. So angle parking allows for more parking spaces. It also allows for a wider street for the driving side. So this will occur on 2nd on the north side. 3.10 is an ordinance approving a 30-year tax exemption for a mixed-use residential project with cultural, education, and art spaces and authorizing financial agreements with 808 Pavonia owner, Urban Renewal LLC, and 808 Pavonia 2 owner, Urban Renewal LLC, pursuant to the long-term tax exemption law. So I thought we weren't giving out any more tax abatements, but here we are. Do they have any affordable housing? So they're gonna make a deposit into the Affordable Housing Trust Fund of $901,000. I would much rather they build affordable housing because putting money into a trust fund, as Councilman Gilmore has said repeatedly, we don't know when that housing is going to be built. We shouldn't settle for money into an affordable housing property. This location should include affordable housing. So we'll be sure to notate that. Phase 1 is a deposit of, and Another deposit. Why are we settling for deposits? Because then we have to wait for somebody to build it. And the cost of building is just going up and up and up. Why would we, yeah. Affordable Housing Trust Fund is a joke. Okay. So those were the first readings. They'll be introduced, and the public will have an opportunity to speak on those when they are second readings. Or you can sign up to speak and speak on them when it's your time for public input. It's great. I think I highly recommend people come multiple times to make their comments and concerns known on multiple occasions, because sometimes you got to like beat it in their heads that you're concerned about, what the city council is voting on. All right, second readings. These were all first readings last week. I'm sorry, at the last council meeting. I'll go over them very quickly. We have the property maintenance fee for lead-based hazard inspections. Go down to the purpose box real quick. And the city is amending its fees for lead-based hazard inspections conducted through the city. So here are the fees. It's non-refundable, and instead of $250, it's $200. So whereas it used to be refundable, I'm guessing, and it used to be $250, it'll now be $200, and it will be non-refundable. 4.2 is regarding plastic straws and non-reusable food. So if you ever order food online through like Uber Eats or Grubhub, you have to check the box that says, yes, I want utensils. They won't automatically put utensils in your bag. So now all restaurants in Jersey City will have to subscribe to this practice of not giving you plastic utensils or straws unless you ask for them. So you're going to have to ask for them. And if you find a food distributor or maybe your favorite restaurant giving you plastic utensils without you asking, just give them a friendly reminder so they don't get fined. Like, hey, did you know there's a new law? So I'd like to know how they're going to let restaurants and locations know about this new law. But otherwise, it is good for the environment. 4.3 is an ordinance amending Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 1, General Provisions, and Article 2, Parking, Standing, and Stopping. So they're adding Juneteenth to the days that there will be no tickets given for the street sweepers and things like that. And I think they added some Jewish holidays, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, here we go. So these holidays take place on different days of the year every year, but they got added as well. So they added these Jewish holidays and Juneteenth. 4.4 is an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Section 332-8, prohibiting turns on red at all times at the intersection of Montgomery Street. So you will no longer be able to turn you will no longer be able to turn right on red along Montgomery and Grove at all times. Those signs should go up, so beware. 4.5 is a franchise ordinance granting permission to the Number Spot to allow the Number Spot to install a handicap entrance ramp. And this is in Ward F, so they will have handicap accessibility in front of their location. 4.6 is an ordinance authorizing Jersey City to execute an extension of a lease within the New Jersey Schools Development Authority on the real property, this of 70 Iggy. This is for the VIA parking. If you don't know about VIA, please use them. It's only $2 to $3 for a ride anywhere inside Jersey City. Your taxes already pay for this service. That's why it's only $2 and $3. If not, it would be like the cost of an Uber or a Lyft ride. But everyone gets a discounted ride because your tax dollars are paying. I think we gave them about $2 million a year for this contract, on top of another 500,000 or 600,000 to convert their fleet to electric vehicles. So use these purple cars, man. An ordinance of the municipal council adopting the Fayette Broadway redevelopment plan is 4.7. 4.8 is an ordinance regarding the proper storage of road salts and other solid de-icing materials on privately owned properties. 4.9 is an ordinance authorizing a lease agreement between the city of Jersey City and Verizon for property located at 71 Madison. I thought that this lease agreement was real light, like $1,200 a month is for 18,000 square feet is nothing. That is pennies compared to what regular renters pay. So I was wondering why Verizon was getting this huge discount. Are they offering the city a discount because we are Verizon customers? So I'd love to get that answer. And 4.10 is an ordinance disestablishing the Jersey City Municipal Construction Board of Appeals. So this is the second time they've come to this council, and I believe it's because there's a conflict of interest on the board. So they would have to go to the county instead of coming to the city to appeal a construction board decision. Peace, Isaac. Welcome, welcome. We just finished the first readings, first and second readings. We just finished, and we're about to move on to the resolutions. There were a couple of first readings that stood out to me with regards to the garbage cans, trash collection. You will have to put your garbage in a bin now instead of just putting a plastic bag out there or in stronger plastic containers. And so I'm going to get clarity on the city on whether or not the city is handing out these garbage bins, or if persons are responsible for purchasing their own. And then just the other one that caught my eye was the food and beverage establishments no longer being able to hand out plastic utensils without asking. You said 3.10, 30-year abatement, how are we feeling? So yeah, 3.10, that was another one that I spoke on. I don't believe we should be settling for a deposit into the affordable housing trust funds because that doesn't guarantee the housing will be built anytime soon. Affordable housing should be built at 808 Pavonia. And Councilman Gilmore has said it time and time again. Why are we settling for, why are we giving this as an option versus having them build affordable housing now? So yes, we will need people to come out and speak on that as well. So I'm sure Councilman Gilmore will put his notions on record as well. Is this Pompidou? Is it?
Yeah, because I heard Philip said that it will be on the agenda this coming meeting. So I was wondering if this is the Pompidou tax abatement.
If it is, then oh hell no. The Pompidou is getting a 30-year tax abatement. I'm sorry. I was the Pompidou is that is that in here? Art spaces. Oh, ain't that tricky? They didn't use the word Pompidou or museum. Now they're trying
I
to
think that's it.
put it as and I heard that they were trying to put it under the guise as an arts development of a museum and gallery educational. Yep. Oh hell no. So I'm against the Pompidou. I'm against spending all this money on I value arts and culture, but there's various different ways we can bring arts and culture to the city versus this overpriced museum, in my own opinion. Yeah. How do you feel about it?
I agree. I mean, it sounds like I know that the mayor said that this would be on the agenda coming soon. So, and then when I saw, the town hall today, I was like, oh, I wonder if this will be talked about. But I think this is the Pompidou, and I think, there's many points why we were against tax abatements in general. We have living proof of this not contributing to the schools, having the tax revenues fall behind decades later, and then
Mhm,
now we have the issues with the schools. But like, yeah, I mean, it seems like he's getting some support from the Kushners, and like I think
mhm,
Principal Gadsden knows more
mhm,
about what the Kushner's role is, like in
mhm.
terms of how much they're contributing. But this is still like 30 years tax abatement. It
We should
seems, yeah.
we should not be giving tax abatements for a REIT, basically it's a private entity. It's a REIT, it's it's commercial. It's not residential. It's not putting roofs over anybody's head. And I don't even think it'll bring enough jobs to the city that current residents can take advantage of. Um, 700 construction jobs. Yeah, but that's one time. That's not, once it's built, how many jobs are you bringing to the city? 25 permanent jobs. That's not enough for a 30-year tax abatement. 700 construction jobs, that's one time. That's during the contract. After that contract, only 25 permanent positions. That's not enough for a 30, that's not enough for a 30-year tax abatement. Yeah. Now, giving something like Bayfront a tax abatement, yeah, it's a third affordable. That made sense, but something like this does not. The Mayor Phillip did meet with all the council people a couple weeks ago. Um, and I recall Councilman Gilmore being just caught off track because he had meetings with all council people. He's like, "This is what you want to meet about? Like, we haven't met with the mayor. Like, I can count on one hand how many times the mayor has called the councilmen for a meeting, and this is what you want to meet about? No." So you'll hear from Councilman Gilmore on this at the caucus, of course. Um, but I'm sure he'll vote no. Pretty sure. So far we have so far we have 14 people signed up to speak. Again, if you would like to sign up to speak, you can scan this QR code on our everythingwardf.com website /caucus. Normally we have about maybe 40, 50 speakers. Make sure you sign up before Portside signs up, because Portside, they come deep, about 20 deep. So you want to sign up as soon as possible so you can get in before them. On to the resolutions, how we spend our money. These are all letters. If you want a copy of either of these letters, just send an email to our office and we'll send an email to Sean Gallagher and make that request for you. Okay. 10.1 is a resolution of the City of Jersey City in the County of Hudson, State of New Jersey, authorizing city officials to undertake certain actions in connection with the issuance and sale of a not to exceed $124 million bond, anticipated notes series, not to exceed, and B, not to exceed 12.6 million special emergency notes. So this is how we pay our bills. We keep our money housed, and then when we need it, we cash the bonds or sell the bonds so we can pay our bills. 10.2 is a resolution granting a veteran exemption on block 28303, lot 337 from local taxation pursuant to NJSA 54-4-3.30. Granting veteran exemption. Okay. So at 16 Delmar Road, he filed application for tax exemption. He's a veteran. And we'll thank him for his service and, of course, give him this exemption. 10.3 is a resolution granting a veteran exemption, another one. 10.4 is a resolution honoring Osman Ghani as a community leader of excellence. 10.5 is a resolution honoring Dom Bucafusco for 45 years of dedicated service to the arts and to the children of Jersey City at Camp Liberty. 10.6 is a resolution commemorating September 23rd as Lafayette Day. Oh, wow. General Lafayette encamped his troops in Bergen Heights near present-day Newark and Waldo Avenues. Okay. Who brought this about? The whole council. Okay. 10.7 is a resolution authorizing the City of Jersey City to accept a gift of the sculpture Adorn Me by Tanda Francis. And I like to see if it needs any insurance. Sometimes when we accept art, it has to be insured. And so though the art piece is free, the insurance isn't. Okay. So I don't see anything there. I'll ask. 10.8 is a resolution authorizing the renewal of a license and gift agreement between the city of Jersey City and the Friends of Van Voorst Park to create a memorial plaque program. Beautiful. 10.9 is a resolution recognizing and honoring Detective Lorraine Maps on her retirement. We're losing some good cops. 10.10 is a resolution recognizing the contributions and achievements of Eddie Bays. 10.11 is a resolution recognizing the contributions and achievements of Joseph Cameron. 10.12 is a resolution honoring Siraj Kaufman and the Sneaker Room annual back-to-school block party. 10.13 is a resolution commemoration of the 84th anniversary of the Katyn Forest Massacre and the 85th anniversary of the German-Soviet invasion of Poland. 10.14 is a resolution appointing Kim Carrero as a member of the Sustainable Jersey City of the Jersey City Shade Tree Committee. 10.15 is a resolution authorizing the award of a professional services contract to Bowman and Company to provide accounting and advisory services. This contract in the amount of $75,000 available in the 2024 calendar year budget. 10.16 is a resolution authorizing a lien against the properties listed herein for the cost of removing litter, debris, etc. Whenever we see these, I always like to remind the constituents, if you have a neighbor, if there's a slumlord on your block that isn't taking out their trash properly, or isn't cleaning up their front yards properly, or if there's a foul odor coming from many of your neighbors' houses for a long time, definitely let the Residence Response Center know so that DPW can come find them, or code compliance can come find them. And if they don't clean up, then DPW will come clean up for them and then put a lien on their property. So these locations here have liens on their property now, or will have after this is voted on. 10.17 is a resolution authorizing an agreement with Microsystemsnj.com LLC for the support of proprietary computer hardware and software funded by the Department of Administration. I hate proprietary computer software. I'd much rather us hire some tech gurus so that when they create software for us, we own it, versus contracting with tech gurus and always having to rent their software. Because we don't own, we rent a lot of programs, but we don't own any of them. And 10.18 is a resolution accepting the 2024-2025 assessment role of the McGinley Square Special Improvement District of the City of Jersey City. Councilman Gilmore will be meeting with them on Monday to discuss their budget before he votes on it. 10.19 is a resolution adopting and ratifying the 2024-25 budget of the McGinley Square Special Improvement District. So this is the assessment roll, and this is for the budget. 10.20 is a resolution renewing the contract with Equitable Financial Services Company of America to provide life insurance to management city employees and retirees for the Department of Administration. Insurance is so expensive. This contract is $180,000. 10.21 is a resolution ratifying an award of contract to Carasoft Technology Corp. For the annual onboarding software licenses through the U.S. Communities Government Purchasing Alliance, known as Omnia Partners, for the Department of Administration, Divisions of Human Services. And that contract is for $182,000. 10.22 is a resolution authorizing the payment of a claim from the Jersey City Medical Center for performing medical examinations of civilian and uniformed employees, and also of applicants for employment with the City of Jersey City, and ratifying the extension of a professional services contract with this Jersey City Medical Center on a month-to-month basis until a new contract is awarded. So when we onboard new employees, everybody has to have a physical done, and this is paying for that. 10.23 is a resolution awarding a professional services agreement to Netchert, Deneen, and Hillman to provide defense counsel services related to workers' compensation claims at the rate of $1,500 per case. 10.24 is a resolution awarding a concession contract with Hill's Pet Nutrition Sales. Under 44,000 for 24 months. Ten point 25 is a resolution authorizing the acceptance of a grant award from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration in
Erica,
amounts of $125,000. So where is
yes,
this going to be
Erica,
applied?
that's
Yes,
what I want, is, Urban Davis, I wanted to see, how does that work? Would that be able to utilize it in regard to the RFP program or some community awareness with the 911 that's going on?
mm-hmm,
How is that going to be spent?
mm-hmm.
I don't understand it. I don't understand how it works, but that's
So
my
we can
question.
look at what applicable federal, state, and local laws, rules, and regulations are, because with this grant, there's rules on how it can be spent.
Okay,
So we'll look, this is the award letter. We'll need to see what qualifies as an applicable expense. Because there are stipulations that come along with the
okay,
money.
thank you.
My
I just
pleasure.
like to know, because I don't
Uh,
understand how it works and how we can utilize the money as we're moving forward, because there has to be some more communication and different things that are going on as you're improving the mental health, like communications with 911 and different things. Okay, thank you.
My pleasure. So I'll try to get that answer for you on Monday, if not before, during the caucus. 10.22 is a resolution authorizing the change of the petty cash funds custodian, Office of the Affordable Housing. The new custodian will be O'Shea Samuel. 10.27 is a resolution of the Municipal Council of the City of Jersey City authorizing the use of competitive contracting to purchase hotel accommodations for the Division of Community Development's relocation assistance program. So their last relocation person, I wonder who the new relocation person is, because he recently departed. So I want to get the name of the person now handling relocation. Maria Ambrosia is a paralegal. 10.22 is a resolution of the Municipal Council of the City of Jersey City awarding increased funding for the Senior Nutrition Program and the remaining Community Services Block Grant funding for the program year 2023. So how do we increase funding for a year that's over? Maybe to pay past bills? DC's allocation has a 1% increase. Remaining grant allocation represents the final overall allocation. Additional funding will be allocated to support Jersey City Department of Health and Human Services Senior Nutrition Program, which now has a total grant amount of $271,000. They're going to increase the amount of contracts. Okay, so it's going to trickle down to these entities. Okay. 10.29 is a resolution of the Municipal Council of the City of Jersey City authorizing a business administrator to execute a discharge of mortgage encumbering 334, 336 Holiday Street. So they paid off their mortgage and now they will not have those deed restrictions to abide by anymore. 1030 is a resolution of the Municipal Council of the City of Jersey City approving the sale of 362 Hoboken Ave, Unit 302, and authorizing Michelangelo Kizika to assume the city's note, mortgage, and deed restriction encumbering that property. I wonder how they select these persons, or if they just go through the regular real estate process. 10.31 is a resolution of the Municipal Council of the City of Jersey City authorizing the use of competitive contracting to procure a consultant to provide technical assistance and consulting services to the Division of Community Development for the management of the city's grants from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. We're looking for a new grant manager. 10.32 is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Jersey City authorizing the use of competitive contracting to purchase real estate portfolio and tenancy management software for the Division of Community Development. So again, when we contract these things out, instead of hiring as an employee, if they create software to help them do their job, they leave with that software or they continue to rent that software to us versus us hiring an employee to create the software, and then the city will own that software. 10.33 is a resolution renewing a contract with Millennium Strategies to provide grant writing and consultancy services. So I think Millennium is the one who bombed the original CCRT grant, and we should not be renewing their contract. They did not do a good job. This is why we had to ask an outside entity to apply for this grant, because Jersey City wasn't able to write a good enough grant.
Erica,
Yes.
excuse me. How do they even like sort of get research these people that they're getting the grants to see how successful they are and their experience in years and types of grants they've received that they
So whenever
become?
there's an RFP, so whenever we're whenever we're spending more than $45,000, I believe, we have to put out an RFP, a request for proposals. So we publicly say, hey, we are looking for some money to fill this contract, to fill this need, and then people apply for the position. Again, not as an employee, as a contractor. People send in their proposals, and then there's a board that reviews all of the proposals, and they look through information like what you said. In their proposal, they should submit their success rates and things like that. So Millennium had gone through that process, and this is us renewing with them instead of going out to RFP again. This 1-year period renewal contract being the price set forth in their Millennium's original proposal in response to that RFP. So Millennium responded to the RFP. Who else responded though, and who else is available is the question that we'll want answered at the caucus. And we'll want to review Millennium's success rate with their past year with us, because they failed. Like I said, they bombed the
Okay.
CCRT grant. So we'll ask for more information there.
Excuse me,
Let's see if
Erica,
they're.
sorry for
Sorry.
interrupting.
Mhm.
Did they do other grants so that you could see how successful they were with different grants besides that one? Or did they do other?
Right. They've been doing grants with the city for a year.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
So I mean, when we spoke to Stacey Flanagan, Stacey said that they have been successful previously. They just bombed the CCRT one. So trying to see if they have their proposal in here. So look, they donated to Full Up for Governor $1,000. They donated to Craig Guy. They've donated to Bill O'Day, but only $150 compared to $1,000 to Full Up. Team Gutenberg, they've donated to James McGreevy 1,000, 2,500. Ridley, so Ridley will have to not she won't be able to vote on this because she's received money from Millennium. But yeah, it's always interesting to follow the money to see who they supported financially. We should be looking, in my opinion, we should be looking for a different grant writer, because that was a big one they lost. 10.34 is a resolution accepting a grant award and authorizing the execution of a grant agreement for the 2022 Federal Emergency Management Agency Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities Grant for the Department of Infrastructure. So we need consulting for the stormwater management for McGovern Park. 10.35 is a resolution accepting grant award and authorizing the execution of a grant agreement for the 2023 Department of Agriculture Inflation Reduction Act Urban and Community Forestry Grant for the Department of Infrastructure. a grant in the amount of $2 million. 10.36 is a resolution authorizing the Jersey City Environmental Commission to accept 2024 Association of New Jersey Environmental Commissions Open Space Stewardship Grant in the amount of $2,200. 10.37 is a resolution authorizing an award of contract to Convergent Technologies LLC for the purchasing security equipment maintenance for various city-owned buildings through the Sourcewell Purchasing Cooperative for the Department of Public Works. So new security equipment. 10.38 is a resolution authorizing the award of contract to Millennium Communication for the purchase and installation of cameras for the impound yard located on Monmouth Street. 10.39 is a resolution of Municipal Council approving the application of 167 McAdoo Avenue Condominium Association to participate in the Adopt a Lot program. Well, thank you. 10.40 is a resolution authorizing the renewal of an open-end contract with the statewide striping corporation for the citywide traffic striping program. If there is a block in your neighborhood that needs new striping, let us know. We spent 1.5 million on this contract, so we have stripers on deck. If your block needs new striping, let us know. I always like to tell our constituents there is no longer a division that drives around Jersey City looking for areas of improvement. Philip created the Residents Response Center, so it is all on the residents to report these areas in need. So if you see something, say something, please, please, please. 10.41 is a resolution supplementing the manual of loading zone designations of the City of Jersey City, designating loading zones on 2nd Street between Marion Boulevard and Warren Street. 10.42 is a resolution of the Municipal Council of the City of Jersey City authorizing the acceptance of NJJARC grants from New Jersey Transit for on-demand microtransit transportation services. Is this going to be a $275,000? It's coming to us. It's going to be allocated to 24 and 25 budgets. And we're probably going to give it to VIA. Yep, on-demand transportation service, aka VIA. It requires a 50% local match, so taxpayers will foot the other 275,000 that we're matching. Like I said, use VIA. Your tax dollars are paying for it. And if you have a problem with VIA, let us know so we can bring it to their attention. 10.43 is a resolution authorizing the award of an open-end contract to City Electric Supply LLC to provide electrical supplies and materials for the Department of Public Works for $56,000. 10.44 is a resolution authorizing the award of contract to United Rotary Brush Corp for the purchase and delivery of brooms for street sweepers under the contract. Which street sweepers? The old ones or the new ones? The little tiny little ones or the big ones? Because we're supposed to be going back to the big ones. If a street sweeper is not doing its job on your block, call the Residents Response Center, tell them to come back. They are obligated to come back down the block if they do not get all the debris up. If people are not moving their cars, call the traffic division so they can be ticketed. 10.45 is a resolution supplementing the manual of bus stop designations for the City of Jersey City in addition to bus stop locations. They're adding bus stop locations along Garfield Avenue. Good. 10.46 is a resolution ratifying an amendment to the contract and resolution with H2M Associates for the Historic Master Plan elements. They were reviewing this over the summer. 10.47 is a resolution providing a local support for Cream of the Pot LLC to operate as a Class 5 retail cannabis. They are located where? Mm-hmm. 497 Communicable Avenue. 10.48 is a resolution providing local support for Glue Lagoon Farms LLC to operate as a Class 1 cultivator. cultivator license to operate a cannabis facility in Jersey City. Where is this located? 77 Forest Street. 77 Forest Street. A cultivator license in the city? Okay, I thought so. I didn't think it was going to be like in a residential neighborhood. It's in a industrial neighborhood. Um, uh, near Green Environmental Services. Okay, so there they are. So this will now be a cannabis cultivator. Okay, yep. Alrighty. 1049 is a resolution authorizing a license agreement between the City of Jersey City and the Jersey City Public Schools to grant the Jersey City Public Schools exclusive use of the southwest corner of Paulus Hook during the select hours. So every year we have to have a meeting with the Historic Paulus Hook Association, because a lot of residents are like, well, this is a public park, why are we closing it off? But we're closing it off for the kids, for the students, so they can be safe and they can have a pickup and drop off location, because the school does not have a good place to do pickup and drop off. So it's only privatized, not even privatized, it's a public school. It's only closed off for the school during these hours. Other than that, it is a public park. 10.50 is a resolution renewing a professional services agreement with the law firm Adams Letouboudère Crute and Herman LLC, formerly Adams Gutierrez, and to act as a third-party hearing officers for the City of Jersey City in various disciplinary actions. 10.51 is a resolution renewing the professional services agreement with the law firm, another law firm. 10.52 is another law firm. 10.53 is another law firm. 10.54 is another law firm. 10.55. And we do all these law firms because a lot of times there may be conflict of interest, and so we have to seek outside counsel. Resolution authorizing the award of professional services agreement to Collier's Engineering and Design, Mazer Consulting for the implementation of an operations and maintenance plan for the remainder of 2024 through the first quarter of 2025 on the PJP landfill site at Sip Avenue, routes 1 and 9 for the Department of Infrastructure for $548. $48,000, excuse me. 1056 is a resolution of the Municipal Council of Jersey City authorizing the submission of an application to the New Jersey Urban Enterprise Zone Authority for Enterprise Zone Assistance Funds. So these are all the UEZ items that they took off the agenda last meeting. And in my opinion, they took off the wrong one, because last meeting, the only one they didn't take off was the $1.9 million that they granted to the Jersey City Police Department for standing posts. And I just don't agree with the standing posts. A lot of people, especially on the South Side, don't agree with the standing posts because they can't move. And a lot of times they're just sitting there looking on their phones. And even though they claim that they're looking at the cameras on their phones, it's just not a good look. That we would much rather see walking posts. We would much rather them see engaging in the community walking. You should have somebody sitting at a computer looking at the cameras, not police out in the street looking at their phones. It's not a good look at all. So these are all UEZ items for special improvement districts. We might ask them to table this again, because I haven't seen any meetings with regards to these at all. And that is the end of the city council agenda. Any questions, comments, concerns, reflections? Thank you, Isaac
Thank you,
Jimenez. Yes?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss Auntie Urban Davis, Denise Urban Davis for joining us. And thank you, Isaac, for joining us, and everyone online for watching live on Facebook. If you have any questions, concerns, you can reach your councilman at everythingwardf.com. Just click on contact your councilman. You can email us, you can call us, you can schedule a meeting via either of these categories. Feel free to copy the chief of staff, myself, Eric Walker, and council aide Lanisha Trent on your emails to Councilman Gilmore. And find out everything else that's going on in Ward F by following us online, everythingwardf.com, everything Ward F on Instagram, everything Ward F on Facebook. There's a captain's meeting coming up on the 10th, Tuesday the 10th. We have our town hall coming up on September 18th, and all these other fabulous events coming up as well. Peace and power, you guys. Stay safe out there. Be great on purpose.